important investigations in the history of our country.
So, Jeffrey Toobin, no indictments, no charges for the launching of the investigation itself, which is why this even happened. And again, this has been going on longer than the Mueller investigation itself, and it's about to wrap up, we understand.
Well, and if we can just also, I mean, I think Counselor Jarrett gave a very accurate description of the charges here, but if I can just add how weird this case is and how unusual even this case is. I mean, first of all, Sussman isn't charged with lying to an FBI agent. He's charged with voluntarily going to a lawyer at the FBI, the top lawyer, Jim Baker, and describing what might be a crime and saying you should look into this. In that conversation, he says, I'm not representing a client generally. I specifically, I'm just sort of reporting this. That's what's alleged. There are no notes of this conversation. This is a 5-year-old conversation. And in Baker's report to his colleague, the colleague writes down, as everyone knows, that Sussman's firm represents the Clinton campaign. So there was no mystery about who Sussman was or where Sussman was coming from. So the idea that this is some, lie that changed the FBI and changed their investigation just seems deeply bizarre to me, if this statement was ever said at all, because there are no notes, there's no one present there other than the two lawyers, and it was almost exactly 5 years ago because the statute of limitations is going to run out in a couple days. That's why this case was brought today. So, I mean, not only did the Durham investigation labor mightily and brought forth a mouse, this isn't much of a mouse. I don't know what this case is.
And just to add to your point, Jeffrey, what strikes me so much is that Trump and his allies have been talking about James Baker being part of this alleged cabal at the FBI, which we all know was not founded in any fact at all, but that was their theory. And now Durham's entire case rests on Jim Baker being truthful, right? If Jim Baker's recollection actually falls apart on this, or it wasn't as sound as Durham paints it to be, then the whole case, to me, falls apart.
But and Jeffrey, Jeffrey, on the bigger picture, though, just address the bigger picture here, which is, again, you heard the people on Fox talking about this blowing up everything. I mean, what were the deliverables here compared to what was alleged or promised?
Right. It's important to remember that's right. That's right, Berman. I mean, the idea that the former president and his allies have been pushing is that there was something corrupt about the Russian investigation from the beginning, that there never was a legitimate investigation about whether the former president and his campaign were in cahoots with Russia during the 2016 campaign. What Robert Mueller found, as people may recall, was that there were extensive contacts between Russia and the Trump campaign, just nothing that rose to the level of a criminal offense he could charge. But certainly there is nothing that Durham has found so far that suggests there was anything improper about this FBI investigation at all. And that was what was supposed to be at the heart of this investigation. And so far, at least, and this has been years, as Laura pointed out, nothing has been shown to be improper that the FBI did.
And it's not for lack of looking. As I said, it's longer than the Mueller investigation itself at this point. Jeffrey Toobin, Laura Jarrett, thank you both very much.
All right.
Speaking of investigations, new CNN reporting on the Georgia probe into Donald Trump's effort to steal the election.